Hello, everybody. For those who are just joining us, welcome to the first day of the sixth edition of the Full Funnel Summit. And this time or this year, we decided to really double down on case studies, sharing what works in 2025. So, up next, we are also breaking through the noise of AI hype with someone who's in the ABM trenches and has the results to prove it, with Trinity Nguyen, the CMO of UserGems, who is going to share with us what really takes to build an ABM program that converts at 10 to 15% conversion rate, and really what worked when they layered in AI, and how to get your sellers to actually adopt the tools that you invest in. So, with all of that said, Trinity, welcome. Please take it away.
All right. Hi, everyone. Um, so want to make sure that I'm all set up over here and you can see my screen. Um, hi, everyone. I'm Trinity Nguyen. I am the CMO of UserGems. Right now, I'm actually calling in from Austin. I'm here for a conference right now. So my voice a little bit raspy from all the meeting with everyone. But I'm very excited to be here to share some of the new content that we create. Because I don't know if you follow UserGems, but we're very big on ABM. We've been doing ABM since we were bootstrapped 5 years ago. This was the first program that we actually used to build our pipeline and our growth for the last 5 years. So we kind of like a living testimonial that you can do ABM without breaking the bank. And over the last 5 years, we always kind of iterate and improve on. And in the last, I would say, 2, 3 quarters, we started leaning in more into AI to figure out how to to evolve our ABM program, but also kind of make it more efficient um, so that we can keep scaling. Um, all right. I see that people are already popping in with some hi. So feel free to add your question here. I'll switch back and forth. Like I mentioned, I'm actually traveling right now, so I have only one screen. So let me know if you can see my screen at the moment. Right. Just double checking. Great. Oh, is this using the slide? Okay. I'll just use the slide for now. Okay, so just a quick context on our ABM program. So internally we call it ABX because I wanted to make sure that we keep in mind of the post-sales as well and not just the pre-sales, and it's a whole revenue team effort. So some quick stats. So for the last 5 years, this program, the conversion rate from like how many accounts we target and how many of those convert into a sales opportunity, the conversion rate has always been consistent at 10 to 15%. In the early days, when we only started out with a very small batch, it was around like 20 to 25%. But in the last 3 years, we've been targeting around 500 to 600 accounts, one to one every single quarter. So this is kind of like the percentage that's been consistent, and this is a number that I think pretty sufficient for us. From the pipeline standpoint, it contributes about 25% of our sales qualified pipeline and about 30 to 37% of our close one revenue. So just kind of like share a little bit of context. So to get into the content of today, so there's a lot of conversation about like how to build ABM in a way that is cost efficient, but also like leaning into like not just like not using like crazy expensive tools, but using tools that make sense for your business. Because ABM, as you're aware, is complex in the sense that it's not just one team. The hard part is the alignment with the rest of the organization, specifically the sales team. So let's get into the weeds of like how we've seen what works using AI versus not using AI. And I'll share some pretty tactical things here. Would love to get your questions in the chat, just so that like I can make sure that the slides make sense and helpful for you guys. So the typical ABM process. The first part, this is very basic. Define ICP persona. Then you build the list. Typically, you align with your sales partners to kind of look into like these the right accounts? This the right persona? How do we find all the people within these companies? Then you prioritize, because typically I would say your ICP should have at least should surface, at least for like most of the mid-market companies, like you should get around 10 to 15,000 accounts as your kind of like 10 that you can focus. So obviously as an ABM, you cannot target all of them. So how do you prioritize which account to go after now and who within those accounts? So number 3 is prioritization. And the fourth part is the fun part, but it's also the challenging part, right? The engage with these accounts. And this is marketing and sales. And I intentionally put them into one box to highlight that this is a teamwork. Okay. So talking about like why we be talking about like AI and like how to figure out how to build ABM without breaking the bank. Because of like, requests from our bosses. So that's actually our CEO. So beginning of the year, be like, we need to 2x this year, but with the same budget. This is very common. We see this. So how do we make this happen? Because we can complain about it over drinks, but that's just reality. So how do you do this? All right. So the way that I'm thinking about like how to make a program more efficient, especially when it comes to like how do we use AI? I mean, AI is so broad. So the way that we look internally is like I want to map out the entire process of any program, uh, almost like an assembly line, kind of like what you're seeing there. What are the steps that needs to happen sequentially to get the job done? Which part is very manual, which part is very inefficient, and also like which parts the team really don't want to do. So when I look at the ABM manager day to day, and this is broadly because we do a bit more than this, but kind of like broadly from Monday to Friday, broadly speaking, first part is like they would sit down with the sales team or like product marketing, understanding ICP, build the list, and then prioritize them within alignment. A big chunk of our time is also building alignment with sales. And then the last part, which is the orange, is that's when we ideate the ideas, the campaigns, and then execute it, and then measure and report back. So broadly speaking, that's kind of like a day in the life of an ABM manager. So when we look into like these 4 boxes for an ABM manager, we think that the purple and the green are the ones that can be helped by AI just because it has the ability to like ingest a lot of data, synthesizes, prioritize it for the team instead of like my ABM manager would have like 10 different Google Sheet downloading from Salesforce, like wrangling the data. That's just not something that she like personally would prefer to do every day. I mean, I think as most marketers, we kind of want to focus a lot of time on like building alignment with sales, coming up with campaigns and setting up the campaigns, right? So the purple and the greens are the one that we kind of start focusing on like using AI internally for us. The alignment with sales stay roughly the same, but actually I'll show you in a little bit by using like AI for like purple and green to enhance some of the stuff that she used to do. I'm my ABM manager. It actually brought sales along as well. So alignment got a little bit easier also. And now she has a lot more time to coming up with like more campaigns, personalizing like landing page, etc., and doing even more activities, which I will touch on later on in the slide. All right. So this one is a PDF, so it's a bit much, a lot of text. I couldn't figure out how to do the share screen effectively, but Vladimir, I might ping you from tech support. But essentially, so what is persona? So the persona, everyone here probably knows, function seniority. Don't forget the keyword inclusions and keyword exclusion. Like just because you're targeting marketing leaders doesn't mean you target all types of marketing leaders in an organization, right? Like for us, sometimes we would exclude content, marketing, etc. Vladimir?
No, I mean, if there's anything that I can help with, like, are you asking about how to share part of your screen? Do you want me to share something with the audience? Let me know how I can help.
Thank you. I'm thinking of like just switching to screen sharing at some point. I don't know if it's too late to switch that over from the PDF to the screen.
Absolutely. You wanna switch to screen sharing? Do it
Yes, please.
if you want to do it right now, that's fine.
Yeah, let me try that.
On the left side, you have the screen sharing icon, and yeah,
there you
here
go.
we go.
All right. Thank you, guys. Oops. All right. Okay, we good, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can. Okay. So that's probably better. So here's a GPT prompt that you can copy and paste. So what you would do is export in your CRM, like HubSpot, Salesforce, your list of customer contacts, probably like the close one opportunity contacts. If you export those out, just their titles and companies, so basically to CSV, upload it into GPT. And this is literally the GPT prompt that you can put in there to get it to analyze, identify your target persona. It will consider function, seniority, keywords, even exclusionary terms down here to kind of define your like top persona. So hoping that this is helpful for the team. This is a GPT. I'm paying $19 a month, $20 a month, but I'm pretty sure the free version can do it as well. So this is kind of how you can do it. And then similarly for the ICP. So what is your like good accounts, like good fit accounts look like? So employees, revenue, industry, geography, tech stack, et cetera, et cetera. So here, similarly, if you have a list, like just a CSV of your current customers with their name and website, upload that onto your GPT with this prompt. It will give you back all of the ICP information that it can find from public sources. So just between these two steps, like my previous life, I was a product marketer. It would probably take me easily half a week just to analyze, making sure we don't miss anything, etc. But with GPT or like any type of like AI tool that you're using, it can go even further than that and just like, is there anything that I need to keep an eye out for, etc. You can kind of like refine this together with your GPT. I would say like probably in a day, if you block out a day to do this, you will come out with the list that is good enough to get started on your ABM program. And then step 2 is like building lists, like accounts. Here's another GPT prompt, and I'll share all this with anyone that's attending after this, so you can have the prompts with you. You can also ask GPT to find the list of companies, basically look-alike companies that match the ICP that it just refined with you, considering all of the publicly available information like industry, company sizes, et cetera, and trying to enrich it as much as it can. Same for the people. Can you build a list of people at these ICP matching companies who fit the target persona? So these are the things that usually would take us probably weeks. If I remember correctly, like earlier last year, when we tried to do it manually, it would take ABM manager, marketing ops, and like SDR leader as well to kind of like wrangle all this and make sure we have all the information we need. But now you can do it really quickly, at least to get from 0 to 1, and then you can take it to the next phase a lot faster. But I do want to add a few important notes here. Because GPT relies on publicly available sources, at least the common one that all of us have access to, you will likely need to run the list through some data provider to enrich with like emails and phones, because typically these are the information that's private. So I think this is kind of like just get you started so you don't have, like, it's hard to look at the blank page, but I think we still need data providers for this. The second piece is, even if GPT provides with data, also you need to verify the data accuracy, because we do see that it hallucinates every now and then. So something to keep in mind. But again, I think that this already helps with a lot of ABM managers, or like when you join a new company starting ABM program from scratch, to get something going so that the team can get started instead of just looking at an Excel and CSV and analyzing all that. All right, so I want to show you a little bit on like how it could look like as an output. So like for the GPT prompt, you can put it into GPT with your CSV, you see it. I want to show you how it could look like and give you some additional like kind of bonus tips. So earlier we kind of talked about the basic, right? Just get the close one op contact. If you get really good at this process, I would encourage to do open op contact as well and close last op contact as well, and add that to your like AI or GPT prompt. The reason why you want more of these is close ones already happened. Open op is something's going on right now. Close last is the one that didn't move forward. So we want, like for us internally, we track all three for like persona because we want to see if there's any change in our target persona over time. Maybe in the past we sold to mostly sales leaders, but recently, because of the market trends, the open ops actually have more marketing leaders. So that's something just like kind of you want to take your analysis to the next level. I would add more data to the AI. And then it will kind of like give you some type of like persona. This one is just to illustrate because I don't have my GPT pull up here, but this is how it would kind of give you the output, and then you talk to the GPT in your OpenAI and tell it, okay, what are the keywords that I want to include, exclude, etc. This one I'm showing you is just like our product. I think it's easier to show it here just because it's more designed. But in the GPT, it will give you kind of like a CSV back or a list, and you can refine from there. And then do the same thing with the account, similar to the persona. So earlier when I did the slide, you see the customer, I recommended just using customer accounts. When you're ready to take it up a notch, also add the open up accounts again to see if there's any change in your ICP. So at UserGems, we're very analytical about this piece. We've always been monitoring any changes in our persona and ICP because we, like in our space, we're relatively a new category, so things change a lot. So from the early days, we always monitor to see if any change in our ICP. So that's why we added in the open ops just to double check. If nothing changes, that's fine. And you get like kind of like the typical ICP criteria. And then you go into like the building the list, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Let me toggle back into the stage if there's any question. Oh, cool. If there's questions, just feel free to put in the chat. I'll flip back and forth and make sure I address it on the call. All right. So we did the 2 steps. Right. Step 3, prioritize. So sadly, this is often where a lot of the analytical stuff we just talk about, like the thoughtfulness, tend to stop for a lot of ABM programs. Mostly due like out of like, either time to figure out how to prioritize account or some type of scoring we have internally, like account scoring or lead scoring, a little bit not perfect for ABM. So the way that at UserGems we do for prioritize accounts, we score account and prospects using signals. What are signals? I'll show you right here in a little bit. So we look at, so for us, signals, there are 3 categories. The people level signals, the account level signals, and then we also call our own internal CRM data signal as well. We want to look at like our 10,000 target accounts, like the ICP accounts. We want to add, I want to be able to basically rank all of these based on the combination of all of these signals. So when we talk about account scoring internally, a lot of companies either they have like intent, but that is just one signal. There are a lot of different things that are going on in the organization and different people movement as well, and also relationship context that they have with us. So all of these things could feed into a system and rank the accounts for us. And they change all the time. So like people changing jobs, accounts now like hiring or get funding, they visit your website, etc. Any kind of like past engagement, they engage with your emails or they talk to your sales rep, etc. All of these things should be baked into the account scoring and prospect scoring. So this is really hard to do it manually unless you have like a data science team. With AI, this is now possible. To be honest, I think this is, since last year, this is the first time where we like can do this without hiring a big data science team. In my previous company, we did have to hire data scientists to help us do this. With AI, what AI is really good at is just sucking up a lot of the data and simplifies, synthesizes for us and give it back a score and ranking the accounts. So I would encourage you to look into like where you can find these type of signals for your target account. Not all signals are the same, to be honest. Like some companies hire, like hiring signal is way more important than like intent. So for us, we kind of just give all the data to AI and let it rank based on what it's seen worked in the past for us. Sounds crazy, but if you look into this a little bit deeper, there are a lot of tools that can help you like figure out how to do this. And also don't forget the CRM data. We sitting on a gold mine of just contacts and relationships that you should put in there and kind of rank your accounts. And then I want to highlight the prospects. I'm assuming almost everyone on this call is on the marketing side. So for us, we like to think about accounts only because we can do things programmatically. But we should think about the prospect too. Like if you say, let's target Deal Hub because it has 91 score based on all the signals like showing up here. Look into a solution or a way to also prioritize the prospect within that account. Why? Because it will help your sales partners execute or work your target accounts. A lot of time, what we see in ABM programs fail is that sales don't thoroughly work all the ABM accounts like marketing teams has expected them to. But it's mostly because it's painful to go and find one by one contact in each account. So if you target 600 accounts per quarter like we do, and we want a SDR to target 10 people per account, you're talking about 6,000 people. But that means they got to go into each account, look at a lot more people, and then pick out 10. You know what I mean? So that's just, it's very one-to-one at a contact level. And I know this sounds silly to like spend so much time talking about this, but in the last 5 years, I still don't see a lot of marketers think all the way to the level of the prospects. So I encourage us to do that because that will help you with the alignment that we usually experience between like the misalignment between sales and marketing. Okay. So this one is just a fun or not so fun stats. So signals this is where I think we can't really elbow grease to figure out capturing all the buying signals. I think this is where AIs really shine. Because it's just so much data. There's no way we're going to spend all of our day in just CSV and Excel and analyzing stuff. So that's for the marketing side. For the sales side, there's zero chance that sellers will be able to capture all the buying signals by themselves. Every now and then they will catch one or two, but we've seen this stats in so many companies. Reps will miss at least 85% of buying signals at the company that they're going after. All right. Actually, before I go to engage, let me toggle back. Make sure I have. What about, okay, Tatiana has a question. What about data confidentiality? If we share with AI platform, ChatGPT is a cyber risk. 100%. That is very true. Thank you for raising that. Please check with your IT team what you can and cannot share. So when I upload anything to GPT, I make sure nothing is confidential. So if you have, here's a list of companies I want to find lookalikes and ICP, blah, blah, blah. The prompt I gave earlier, I would just give probably 2 columns, like the name and the website of the company. That's it. Nothing confidential. If you want to upload the persona, I would just get the titles in the companies and the company website. I mean, to like nothing personal, but please double check with your IT team. That works for us when we did this at our company, but like different companies have different cybersec requirements. So Nancy has the next question. Did you use a tool to prioritize down to the contact level? We use our own tool. I think I'm kind of like lucky in that sense that I can kind of just use UserGems. Let me show you how it looks like actually. Let me see. Okay, there we go. So, but you can do this with other tools as well. I'm just more familiar with this because I've been with UserGen for 5 years and we kind of use our own tool. So it will rank the account. So that this is the account scoring that I showed you earlier. And within the account, it will rank the people as well. It doesn't get the score because that's just too cluttered, but it ranked top down like this. I think there are other tools out there that can do the enrichment as well, but to this level, prospect ranking, trying to think who would be a good one. So far, I've seen a lot of companies does the data enrichment and give you persona matching prospects and information. maybe some signals related to them, but I don't know if they do the prospect level ranking yet. So I'll double check on this one. But account scoring, I feel like there are quite a few tools that do that. For us, it's just kind of like rank like this. Our reps can go in here and grab the people directly. But actually for us, we automate because we trust the ranking. We've been using it for so long that we just set up the automation to grab the first, like the top 3, add into a sequence. Yeah. Let me see. Next one is if I let one of our prospects, I got all this information about them through an AI platform. It will flag me as a threat. Savannah, I'm not sure I follow, but I don't. Yeah, that's true. To be honest, I did spend time in the GPT and see what kind of information they can pull out for you. GPT only give you publicly available information, so like it's really surface level. That's why if you go back to the slide I shared earlier, I really think that for the prospect, the contact level, you do need to find data providers like enrichment. GPT doesn't get that good there, but it costs nothing to kind of start with a starting point with that prompt to see how far it can get you and then fill in the gap.
Just a quick note, Trinity, there are also questions in our Q&A section, which I can share also for you, or we can also get to the questions at the end of the presentation, whatever you prefer.
Okay, I can get to some here. Ooh.
I have shared it on the screen at the bottom from John.
Are you running these prompts against a custom GPT that has more data regarding persona? This one, when I did this, I start fresh on a new GPT to make sure it works because I use GPT every day. So it's already trained on some of us, but like the ones that the prompt I shared earlier, you can use on generic GPT and then refine from there. But again, it just to get you from 0 to 1, then you need to fill out the gap. Okay.
Yeah, there is another one. You want another one?
Yeah.
Still have. Oh. All right. So we have this one from Stan. How do you capture all these relevant signals so you can feed it to the AI?
Yeah. Actually, if you start searching for AI sales agent signal, you can search it on like Perplexity, etc., or like Google. You will start seeing there are a lot of tools now that trying to do just this, like just capturing different relevant signals and have the AI layer on top. So if they kind of package it up for you. So I would start there. Then easily, probably a handful of solutions are doing this today. So then the next step, once you kind of narrow down the list, the next step is like comparing, evaluating them. Like, do they have the signals for the type of signals that you're looking for your business? And then if yes, then narrow it down further, and then comparing the data quality. I'll touch on that in the slides in a little bit. This part is the part that's also pretty new for most buyers today. All right, I'll go back to the slides and we go into the fun stuff that everyone wants to see. Is like, okay, now we can do all the nerdy, boring stuff, get the foundation done, then we engage. So I want to share like some of the stuff that our team can do. Also, because we have more time now on our hands to kind of like coming up with the campaign. So these are just some of our ads. We do a lot of one-to-one ads. We don't use AI for this. I know there are AI solutions out there that can help you personalize ads, especially if the ad is just only one field personalization. For us, we're a little bit weird because we started with one-to-one ABM 5 years ago. So we have our own system, but there are a lot of tools to help you personalize. So go for it. We do notice that personalizing something on the ads do still to this day stop people from scrolling. And I think for marketers, that's probably the main thing we look for when we're creating these assets, because people recognize their logo. I'm sure someone's going to ask in the chat, do you get lawyers emailing you for using the logo without their permission? So run this for 5 years. I think we got about 4 or 5 emails over 5 years of different lawyers or companies and brand marketers that say like, hey, you don't have permission to use our logo, which then our response back is like, totally okay to take down the ads and make it generic, like kind of just remove the hey part. But just to let you know, this is an ABM campaign, meaning only your employees see this ad. We're not using this to show to anyone else outside of your employee base. So we don't think that we're violating anything because we're not using it to, advertise on TV or billboard. I would say like 3 out of 5 got it, and actually, I think all 3 ended up becoming our customers. There were 2 that they like, now we don't want to hear this. So then we just took down the ads, removed the hey part, and just still running the ads at those companies, just more generic. So there's a little bit of risk there. So you also need to test how risk tolerance your team is, but it's okay. All right. We also do 1-to-1 landing pages for our kind of like premium ABM. This one is highly personalized with the it's not just like these ads, it's like the whole content is personalized. We're testing this out right now where like we're showing a lot of personalized content, even video from the AEs, etc. So they would click from this ad, go to this page, all the sales outreach would point to this page. So this is very time consuming. And there are tools out there for personalize your landing pages, but more like key fields like name, pain points of the industry, et cetera, et cetera. We haven't tested those yet. But I think we also kind of like, well, if we're going to we want to target like these are premium ABM. So that's not that many of them. So we want to put a lot of like care into it and build the pages out ourselves and get the AE to also contribute to the content. But that's just our take. But the only reason why we could do like this type of asset is just because now we have more time. In the past, we're just running ads mostly, to be honest. All right, so that's kind of like top funnel. They get in, they get retargeted, and then we do multi-thread ads. I've shared this play over the years. We've been running it. It works really well to help with accelerating deals for the AEs. Still haven't seen a lot of companies adopt this yet, so I want to kind of bring this back. How it works is when an opportunity hits a certain stage, like stage 1 or stage 2, so that's totally on the AE's territory. Usually marketers will stop advertising because the baton is passed over to that side. But for us, our team is actually measured by revenue with a sales team. So we want to help the sales team accelerate them to the finish line. And multi-threading means like bringing in as many people in the buying group as possible so that it has a higher chance of a close one. We measure this over years. Like when an op is multi-threaded, we have 5x higher win rate than when it's single-threaded. It makes sense, right? So for us, we have 3 key personas: sales leaders, marketing leaders, and like sometimes rev off leaders. So when an op's created, automatically grab those accounts into an audience in our ad campaigns and start running ads like this, like already talking to us. Do you want to join a conversation? Very soft ask. We don't expect them to click, but what we've seen is that it helps the AEs with multi-threading because sometimes it's hard for AEs to ask the champions like, hey, can you also bring in your sales leaders? It's just a delicate thing. So we're just using ads to help them out. And then we also tie in with events. Again, kind of like the bottom 2 are something that pretty new just because now we have more time. In the past, we didn't have this as part of the ABM at all, actually. So we want to make sure that we can bring the people that we target in ABM to events that we're hosting like every month in different locations around the country. We're also testing with like, if we know a big conference is happening in like 3 months, can we get the list of accounts that typically attend that conference and ABM them ahead of time, and then kind of like with the call to action meeting up at the conference. So these are things that we only managed to unlock the last 2 quarters because we have more time and AI kind of help a big piece there. Okay, so that's marketing. So what's happening with the sales side? So I'm going to segue a little bit and get in a lot of details on the sales side. So similar to the ABM day in the life, this is a typical day of a seller. Like it's literally like this. They start a day figuring out how to build a list, prioritize, draft emails, and then engage with the prospect, either like sending the emails, engage on LinkedIn, calling them. So our team is pretty efficient just because we use a lot of automation in terms of like the back end stuff to help them get more like capacity. So we've been monitoring like one seller typically will get like would touch about 2,000 prospects a month, basically on the engaged side. So since we started using AI, so we moved to like the purple and the green for sure, kind of what I showed earlier, but and then even like part of the drafting too, because the hardest thing, and we marketers know, is to stare at a blank page. So we use AI to, since it's already capture all the buying signals and the CRM data to prioritize, then we use AI to also track kind of like a starting point emails for the seller. So that when they wake up, they just open up like our outreach and all the tasks already queued, all the people, the emails already drafted for them. They can edit from there or just send as is. So that saved a lot of time there. So what ends up happening is they spend a lot of time actually engaging with people instead of doing this data researching, admin, copy and paste stuff. So we saw the improvement in terms of like capacity. So like one seller now can easily, I think 2.6 is on the low end. I think our seller now, each of them easily touch between 3 to 4,000 prospects a month. And that's like a 30% or 100% higher capacity compared to before. So that means they can spend more time in our ABM programs. But at the same time, we can also increase the number of accounts we want to ABM without hiring more reps, right? It's the same team, just more output. Everyone hits number two, which is really exciting to see. I think our team's been, like, every single rep's been hitting or surpassing their quota, I would say like 6 months in a row now. It's pretty awesome. So something that I want to share with you. So as you talk to your sales partner, something to keep in mind, because a lot of the AI stuff here is shared between marketing and sales. And this is what I meant earlier on, is like when you do it like this, it actually helps with alignment, because you show them that you understand their pain point a day in their life, and you guys kind of like use the same tools to build lists, prioritize, etc. Okay. So talking about the emails a little bit. When we talk about AI in sales, AI in sales get a lot of bad rap, and for a good reason, because we got a lot of like garbage, kind of like, hey, you went to this university, hope it was fun. By the way, do you want to buy this cybersecurity tool? Just that is just terrible. So I would say, like, when you look at these AI emails, set a higher bar. What would your best rep write, and compare that with whatever AI tool that you're evaluating? So for us, we noticed like our reps use a lot of the signals, even back in the day when we just do it manually. So we track our customer when they change their job. We also want to know like if they talked to us in the past. So kind of like the AI should be able to replicate that. Like, hey, Sophia, thanks for like bringing UserGems to your past company back in the day. Yes, so and so in your company talked to us before, want to talk to them. And then the next piece is like weaving in like relevant customer stories. Like these are the pretty standard stuff. I feel like everyone knows. Also adding gift. By the way, I think like gifting is a sensitive topic depending on industry, but I think if you use the right language for gifting, it's actually thoughtful, because time is expensive. If you have a thoughtful gift, it actually will boost your reply rate and build your relationship with that person. Don't just do like, take the demo for a $10 coffee gift card. That's just lame. But like, hey, would love to like help you with the spiff for your sales team for end of quarter. Like, or like, if you can bring your team in here, like lunch on us, we want to make sure that, we know that your time is valuable, etc. Like just wording. So keep that same bar when you evaluate AI tools. There are AI tools out there that write decent emails. Just, you know, remember what good looks like that your human reps do, and use that as a benchmark. Okay, so what do sales do for ABM? So the typical like standard sequences that we have here: email, calls, email, LinkedIn, etc. So multi-touch, gifting in there, and then booking. We use AI to help our reps with majority of the emails, just so to get the starting point. Even on calls, we also push in the signals into like kind of like a tip for them when they pick up the phone and talk to someone. They have all the information in front of them. It's like, here's this person. These are all the signals related to them and their company. This is the company, what they do, and the pain points. I mean, these are the GPT standard like AI stuff, right? But you push them to where the reps spend their time, so they don't have to think about tools. They just execute. And meeting booking rate from phones, since we start using AI to automate a lot of the manual boring work, skyrocketed. We book so many meetings on calls now, and the reps even said it's because the people that they reaching out to already like prioritize, and they have a good reason, aka the signals to reach out. It's been so much easier. And our team was not good at calls before, guys. It took years, probably 2 years, and only in the last 3 quarters that they become so good. And it coincidentally is when we start using AI to help with the other stuff, so they can focus on the human touches. Okay, so that's kind of standard. Some cool stuff, tips here that I want to share with you. You can get your marketing ops or rev ops to help you to optimize for the conversion rate. So this is standard sequence. We monitor, again, like signals, right? So website visit is one of the signals we look out for. So this is from our Slack channel. If a current ABM account visit our website, we use both. We use account level website visit and contact level website visit. So we use Clearbit, and we also use our B2B. So if they visit, then there'll be a Slack alert to send out to say so-and-so in this current ABM account, visit the website. And then are they already in sequence? It's like blank, like yes or no. And then tag the SDR that's working the account. We also include a tip like, hey, reach out to this person using like, our standard persona-based messaging. Don't creep them out by saying, I saw you on our website. So this is completely automated. It helps the rep know what to do in the moment, because if you have to reach out to like 4,000 people per month, you're not going to remember everything. Humans just can only remember like 3 to 4 plays or campaigns at any given point in time. So we want to make it very prescriptive here, and they just execute and kind of put a check mark when they're done. And we put this in a share Slack channel so managers see it too, to keep the team accountable. So silly, but it's very effective. Another one also on the Slack notification is the day before demo. So you schedule all this stuff, you have a meeting here. We also have a share Slack channel, say alert day before demo. It's like, hey, SDR, this is Jalen. It's time to send the reminder email. We don't automate this piece because we personalize these emails to the prospect with the video, with the AE saying, hi, looking forward to meet you, and then we link to the template. So we're basically very prescriptive, give them everything they need that they need to execute. When they're done, check mark. So these are just the little incremental things that not a lot of people do, but when you do it, the conversion rate will improve significantly. Just a little bit here, a little bit there. So our conversion rate from like someone agreeing to meet to actually meeting held is around 77%. And we're still pushing it. I think it was at one point dropped down to about 70, but since we start adding a little bit these nudges, it's gotten up to like 77%. Okay, I'll pause there. Switching back to the Q&A. Let me see.
Q&A, you have the other tab there. Otherwise, I can share it out for you if you
Yeah,
prefer.
if you can take the question for me, it'd be great.
Absolutely. So I think you potentially answered some of those, so feel free to just refer to what you said previously.
Yeah. How are you doing personalization, the emails feeding into the outreach sequences? So there are like the AI tools that capture signals that I told you, like there are a handful of them out there now. They can do this. How good the messaging is, like, it's pretty subjective, so you have to evaluate them side by side. So if they can capture buying signals for you, then theoretically, they will also write the emails for you as well. So for example, if we go back to, let's just pick this person from the UserGems side. Let me know if I need to zoom in. But essentially, so it captures the signals. It's gonna like start generating the email. So like, for example, this company, this is a person. Here are all the reasons to engage, AKA the signals we just talked about. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, that doesn't work. I'm sorry. Let me zoom out instead. So in the email, it will start sprinkle in different signals. So like she just started a new job, and so like congrats on the new roles, and then persona-based messaging that's subjective to each company. And then also saw that Jonathan Evans is on your sales team. They were a customer of ours when they were at Smartly. So maybe you want to talk to them. And then the second emails is like, oh, we have companies like Crossbeam who's in related space like Miracle. Maybe we can do the same thing for you, linking to the customer story, et cetera, et cetera. And it can build out many sequences. And then all these trapped here push straight into outreach, sales log, gong, engage, et cetera. So if they can capture buying signals for you, then they should be able to draft something for you and you can tweak from there.
All right. Do you just let me know if you want more questions? Can share them out.
Okay. What AI are I think Joy saying in the chat, like what AI are you using to prepare this for the sellers? Oh, I'm spoiled. I'm at UserGems. We do this, so we just use it ourselves. But there are tools that basically you look into the integration. So in the later slide, I promise, I have 10 minutes. I'll show you like what are the criteria you look for to make sure that all the things that AI does can be surfaced where the end users spend their time. That is a trick to get adoption. So make sure that it can push information to your outreach, sales log, HubSpot sales, etc. Okay. We are all right, so we right there. I'll power through really quickly. So now it looks like everyone's looking for AI solutions. So sad fact, Gartner found that 30% of Gen AI projects are typically abandoned afterward just because it's hard to get everyone lean in. So a lot of buyers I talk to, customers too, is kind of like, there's so many tools out there. Everyone kind of like promised the same thing. How do you separate diamonds amongst the dust? I'm also asking this in my team as well when they evaluate different AI solutions for ourselves. How do we know how much of it is just like marketing copy versus real product? So I think the way I think about AI in a simple term is like automation on steroid. So garbage in, garbage out. That's the reason why like we very neurotic about keeping our CRM really, really clean from the beginning. But like if you apply that mindset to AI, it's like, look, check for data accuracy. Ask them where they get their data from. Everyone's going to give you different answers. That's fine. And then looking for the quantity and quality. So a lot of data providers that turn AI solution, they're like, oh, look at all these like data I can find for you. More doesn't mean better. Looking for the quality. Is it the right information that you care about? And see, there's another first and third party signals too. So CRM data, like the kind of like data you already have, look for a solution that can kind of like tap into that first party signal and somehow cleanse it, update it, because everyone that I've met say that their CRM data is a dumpster fire. So you're not alone if that's what you're thinking right now. So look for a solution that can tap into your first party signals, cleanse it, update it, and then use it. And then third party data, I think there's a lot of those out there. And then check for hallucination. Like, how do you minimize hallucinations? Even ChatGPT, that hundreds of $billion valuation, it hallucinates. So, what are the guardrails they have to minimize this hallucination? Right. So that is from data accuracy. The second part is context understanding. So, someone already asked, like, how do you get AI to write these emails for you, etc. So, look for how we human would write, like good sales rep would write. So when you look into simple messaging, this is AI or human, right? You've seen bad emails where I say, hey, I saw that you VP of marketing, so you must want my solution. Or congrats on the fundraise, buy my solution. That's just lazy selling, lazy messaging, AI or not. So when you evaluate AI, look for like, if you had a really thoughtful reps and effective, how would they write this? So they would look at all of these things kind of like contextually and then combine them. Like, for example, there's an engagement, they engage with you, like they join your webinar. You have a similar customer story. They already previously evaluated you, but timing didn't work out. Oh, and they just hired new execs. So they can, a human, we can combine all of these things to write a thoughtful emails like, hey, I see this and this and this, and therefore that and that. That's contextual messaging. People can do this, and AI should be able to do this as well. So when you look at the AI messaging, look for the ones that can do this. Don't settle for the left-hand side. That's just bad sales email. And then we talk about hallucination. So AI should feel like magic, but it shouldn't be magic. Like you should be able to see, like put the light in that black box, right? AI should be able to tell you why an account was selected and why that contact was prioritized. It should give you all the information, because this is the information that we will need to personalize our marketing assets, but also what sellers need to personalize their engagement with that person. So make sure that you can understand like how it does its thing. And then where are the guardrails? You can set your brand guidelines, tones. Is it easy to use in terms of building out workflows? Is it easy for the rest of your team to use? So AI is cool, but humans always in the loop. So keep this in mind as well. Like, don't believe in the snake oil of like, just buy this solution and all your pipeline problems can disappear. That's not true because otherwise it wouldn't have a job. So here's just like some simple checklist. If anyone has feedback, please message me on LinkedIn. We learning this, exploring this, and sharing this live as we figure this out as well. But based on what we've seen, that these are kind of like some simple checklists when you evaluate and implement AI for go-to-market. We already touched on a bunch of like criteria here. But there's some stuff here that you might want to keep in mind, like how do you identify opportunities, making sure you get executive buy-ins, especially on the sales alignment side, implementation, yada yada. And then this one is something that I'm hoping that it could be helpful, but if not, let me know as well. The way I'm thinking about AI is like there's so many use cases, even within ABM. So how do we break it down into specific campaigns or themes that we can use AI with? Again, like crawl, walk, run. So I'm thinking about like, okay, if I'm like for us, sometimes we put a theme behind like Q1 ABM or Q2 ABM, just so that there's something excitement, we can do fun things around it. So like re-engage our past champion, we call it alumni club. We pick accounts that have the most past champions in there, the people who use us, and that becomes a badge for Q1. And then we can do some fun things around like the alumni club concept. Another one is around Halloween is like revive closed loss. So like we pick all the closed loss accounts and put that as an ABM campaigns. Or if we know that like, someone, we want to do an event nurture. So like people that go into Forrester or like Gartner conferences, we know ahead of time, then we ABM them a quarter beforehand with the CTA of like, let's meet us at our like, activation there, blah, blah. So I would break it down to like this, and then I will evaluate different AIs to see, okay, can you give me information I need for that theme so that it's a little bit more bite size instead of like, here's AI evaluated for everything. So that's something that I'm testing out. Let me know if you have any questions. If you try it out, it doesn't work. If it works, let me know. And this is just UserGems. We AI platform for go-to-market teams. We started out with job change, but that's the first signal we focus on. And we've been helping a lot of companies building pipeline, revenue, et cetera, et cetera. But
awesome. I love the evaluation based on the very specific criteria. Alec, do you want to do the 4 minutes that we are left, still do a few questions?
Yeah, if there are questions, I'm happy to take them. I know I cover a lot.
So this was the one about the ads that you show, the personalized ads. Can you use LinkedIn or what did you use?
LinkedIn is big for us. A lot of our companies, our target companies, are over 300 employees. So LinkedIn minimum number of contacts is 300. So a lot of these one-on-one target ads is above that. So when they mid-market, so like they 300 to like 800 employees, we don't narrow the persona down. We kind of cover the whole team because we also seen that at mid-market companies, information is shared pretty easily. So like even a sales rep see our ads, they would screenshot it if they like it and send it to a CMO. It's like, hey, look at what this company is doing. We've seen that so many times. So we're like, why do we narrow it down? Like sometimes like CMOs are not on LinkedIn, but sales reps are. So like we would broad stroke target. But if it's like larger companies, then we narrow down a persona to optimize for the cost.
All right. Speaking about the cost, there was a good question. I think there was another question about prioritizing a budget. Where do you put your budget? Similarly, how can you implement some of these strategies when your budget is limited?
Yeah. Actually, so LinkedIn is a number one paid channel. And like I mentioned earlier, ABM's been our main driver for many years until later on we added on other paid. So when everyone says that LinkedIn doesn't work because it's so expensive, it's always been working for us, even when we were bootstrap. So it's just if you figure out who to target and you being very intentional about going after them, then actually it's a lot more affordable. You can play around with how broad the audience is. That's also optimizing for your spend. If you're not the one who's setting up your LinkedIn campaigns, I encourage you log in there, kind of get familiarized with all the fields because LinkedIn campaign has an automated checkbox by default to blast it out to other, I forgot the name. I forgot the name. It's like their network.
Amplification audiences or the
Yeah,
something
yeah, like
yeah,
their
yeah,
ad
no.
network. I love
What is that?
LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. So like I want to be on the record. I love LinkedIn, but that checkbox is evil because it will suck out your budget so fast. You don't want to. I made that mistake. So just like spend time in there, figure out like if you prioritize the right people, the right accounts, and then you understand the nuances of like the campaign setup, you can make it work because we've done it.
Audience
Audience
expansion.
expansion. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah.
Let's see if we can get to this one. How much of this can we do? Oh, no, we're gonna redirect it. Well, thank you so much, Trinity. I think that's all we had the time for. I think we could go on because it was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks, everyone.